Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Keep It Moving Podcast. I am your host, Novelty. And joining me, as always, is Mike B.
What it do?
What it do?
Yes.
What it do?
What does it do? You still got a problem with it. You should be used to it by now.
I don't know.
You should be saying it along with me. Come on now.
No, I was about to ask you what it do.
Ask me back.
Like, what it do?
What's going on?
Not much. What's up with you?
You sound excited when you said that too.
Hey.
What?
Hey, let's just say.
It's the same old. You know, nothing changes with me. Mike B don't freestyle. I got to go with what I'm comfortable with, what I'm used to.
How's your city writing now going for you? Is it working out for you?
It's working, but I mean, every day it's an adventure.
I bet it is.
I'm always,
you meet some new people, don't you?
I don't even pay attention to the people like it's
Really?
riding with me. No.
Really?
I'm always focused on the drivers because they're the ones who are almost killing me every day and every afternoon. They drive so fast. It's ridiculous.
Okay,
I
now,
don't get it.
These are metro drivers. These are city bus drivers. City bus drivers don't really drive fast.
No, they drive so fast. And then I had one driver, like Thursday morning? It was a lady. She would wait until somebody pushed the button, signaling that they want to get off. And then it's like she would speed up. And then when she get to the actual stop, we're like jerking because she was going too fast. I'm like, you've been knowing for at least a block and a half that this person wanted to get off at the next stop. So why would you speed? It didn't make any sense for her to accelerate in that moment. I'm like, it's always an adventure. And I just know that, you know, before too long, we're going to have an accident. I see it coming. We're going to have an accident. And it doesn't matter. Like, it's always, most of the time it's like different drivers. It's just, I be so scared. And I'm already paranoid with other people driving. But we in this big bus and just maybe we'll survive. But I feel like it's going to happen. It's going to happen. That'll be another story to tell if I survive. There ain't nothing I can do.
Well, see, when I was riding the bus, it was the people I would watch. My bus driver seemed to be doing okay with what he was doing.
Well, in the morning, it's only like me and another lady, and she gets off like maybe 5 or 10 minutes before I get off. So it's just me and the bus driver.
Oh.
And then in evenings, everybody that gets on the bus gets on one stop before I get off. So I don't really get to.
Oh, really? So you got the bus to yourself.
Yeah.
No wonder you focused on the driver.
Yeah, because they're also putting my life in danger. It's real out here.
I needed to be focused on the people that I was riding with because some of them were some interesting characters. There were some nice people on the bus as well, but some of them were very interesting.
Yeah,
kind of one of those people got to keep one eye on.
Well, that's when you sit close to the driver,
close to the driver, and close to the exit.
Right.
Yeah. So, anywho, you ready for Christmas?
I don't know if I'm ever ready for Christmas, but it can come. I got the day off. We're off Friday and Monday, so I'm good with that. 4-day weekend. I can't complain.
Well, you just happy about the weekend?
Yeah. Well, I don't really go anywhere on Christmas or Thanksgiving. No, it's not a dud. I keep to myself.
You're a dud.
And let y'all and everybody else do them.
You are a dud.
Anyway.
Anywho. I got a few people to shop for, but I bought my mom and my aunt some Google Home Minis.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so excited about them that I gave my aunt hers already. But her birthday was a couple of days ago, so I kind of made it a Christmas and a birthday gift and just gave it to her.
Did you tell her that, like, don't be looking for nothing on Christmas?
Oh, yeah.
This is it?
This is it.
Okay.
But she and she liked it. She really did. I hooked it up for her, and you can ask her to do different things.
Your auntie, the device.
The device.
You call the device a her?
Yes, because it's a woman's voice.
Oh, is it?
Yes. Now you can change it to a man's voice if you want to, but at default, it's a woman's voice.
Okay.
Okay. Probably because women are supposed to be assistants or some crap like that. But anywho,
well, you should have changed it to a man's voice just because then.
Yeah, whatever. But anyway, so she I set it up for her and everything. And I said, now she'll talk to you. You can say, hey, Google, add cascade to my shopping list, and it'll put it on your shopping list, and your shopping list is in your phone. So you can't, you never forget your shopping list again.
Okay.
You can get it to remind you that you got a doctor's appointment or a dental appointment.
So this is like that little Amazon little.
It's just like a,
what is it, Echo or something like that?
The Echo Dot.
Okay.
Correct. It's just like that, but it's just Google's version of it. Now, as I was reading, Echo is more smart home friendly than the Google Home, but Google is more music friendly.
Okay.
So it just kind of depends on what you want. They both give off they both cost about the same, and they both give off the same degree of excellence. We'll put it that way.
What does that mean?
That didn't work for you.
The same degree of excellence.
They both do basically the same things.
Okay.
But Google is built more to create the smart, or not Google, but Amazon is built more to create the smart home experience. Google is built more to create the entertainment. It sounds like you
say that the Amazon Echo thing can do more.
No.
Okay.
It's just, as I was reading it, it just, the Echo is compatible with more smart home devices.
That means to me, it can do more.
No, because the Google is compatible with smart home devices.
Just
too.
Different ones.
Just different ones.
Okay.
But the Echo is its primary creation, its primary make was for smart home, whereas they're saying the Google's primary thought is entertainment. So like you can have your Google Home Mini control your Netflix account, whereas the Echo at default, it controls your Amazon account. So if you watch Amazon videos, you can control that with it. But at default, Google Home Mini can connect to your Netflix account. It can connect to your Hulu account. So right now I'm seeing it kind of like Apple and Microsoft. I mean, not Android? Yeah, Apple and Microsoft.
Okay.
Apple computers,
okay.
Yes, are compatible with Apple stuff. Microsoft computers try to be compatible with Microsoft stuff, but other things as well.
Right.
That's what I'm seeing so far, but we'll see.
And you like it?
It's cool. I mean, I don't really need it for anything because I don't like putting my information in the cloud. That's just me. I don't think it's no cloud's business what I got going on.
When you were explaining like what you would do with it, I'm like, I just don't see a need. Like a grocery list, like I just get the same thing.
It's not a huge need for me, but it's a huge need for my mama and my auntie.
Well, when you told your auntie to, when you have a question for me,
you ask the Google Home first. That's what I told her.
Yeah.
You called them first. But then they also, like my grandmother calls my mom and my auntie and says, hey, remind me to take my medicine at such time. Well, my grandmother, my mom and my auntie call me and say, hey, call me and remind me to call mama and tell her to take her medicine. So I'm like, no. You say, Google, you remind me to tell my mama to take her medicine. Don't put that on me. So for them, it has a purpose. For me, not so much yet. But in order to help them, I had to get one for myself in case something go wrong. I got to know how to fix it.
Right.
And it's easier for me to just tell them over the phone and have to go to their respective homes, especially my mama's. My mama lived 30 minutes from me. Every time she have a problem with a device, I'm not going to go to her house. I love her, but I'm not going to travel across the city to go to her house.
But you do.
Well, she my mama. I just don't want to do it every day.
Right on.
So, anywho. But you got a bae for me today?
I do. What was that but?
I was just thinking, but I digress.
Anyway, I'm sure most of you have seen the viral video at this point by now of, I think it's Ayrton. It's Ayrton Little from Bro Bridge, Louisiana. And it's a video of a young cat. He's in front of his computer. He got people all around him, and he opens up his acceptance letter to see if he's actually been accepted to Harvard. He is accepted, and the crowd basically went wild. I just loved seeing the video.
Exciting, yeah. You were excited for him.
Yes, and it seemed like everybody, the support that was around him, I think it was his classmates, but everybody, you almost thought they all got accepted.
Right.
As excited as they were, and I was like, where was my support?
Right.
I got
graduated. Congratulations.
For a moment. I'm like, nobody even cared that I went to college. Nobody asked me, was I going to school? But brother man is doing big things, and I just... the love that was in the video, it was exciting, and hopefully, other kids seeing something like that, it makes them want to go pursue their education and do more.
Yeah, you could tell he kind of reached a goal he had been working for. He had worked hard for, and he reached it, and it was really kind of cool.
And he went to T.M. Landry College Preparatory School, and I think they were saying that this is like the third year in a row that one of their students got into an Ivy League school.
Good for them.
And even they said this also runs in the Little family, because last week Arton Little's older brother Alex got accepted into Stanford, so they had like another video where that was going on. So shout out to the Little family. Shout out to everybody that's pursuing further education, because even though you don't, some of us go to school. And we go to school because it's a thing to do. Hopefully he's going to school for something that's going to make him great.
And then we see that student loan bill.
That's a whole different story. Student loans, because
we got that higher education. It's supposed to bring us better money and better jobs. It better. Because it cost $60,000, and that was just for 2 years.
That was yours. I feel like you got hoodwinked.
Oh, really? No, I don't think I got hoodwinked, but I sure think they got my money.
But shout out to Ayrton Little. Hopefully that's how you pronounce his name. But an honorary mention, and I didn't know if I wanted to mention her, but you threw it out there and say, how about you talk about Tiffany Haddish, because she has come from
a lot
a lot and almost every week we're hearing about her. Almost every day we're hearing about her and her successes and how she's doing big things right now. She was in The Real Husbands of Hollywood. She was in Janky Promoter. She was on the Carmichael Show. More recently, she was also in Girls Trip. Didn't you see her in Girls Trip?
Oh, yeah.
Did you enjoy that movie?
Oh yeah. That movie was hilarious. That movie was so funny. She made that movie. She really did.
Right on. I still haven't seen it.
Oh, my God.
I feel like, for some reason, I just feel like it's a movie for girls.
No, you and me, we watching that tonight.
No, I got work to do.
Whatever.
Whatever. I just told you I'm working on the website.
Well, you can work on the website and watch the movie at the same time.
This sounds like you about to do some illegal activity. Type of we watching it tonight. Is it out on video yet?
Yes, it is.
I don't know.
So Jack Watt there.
Anyway, also on November 11, 2017, Haddish became the first black female stand-up comedian to host Saturday Night Live, which I found that interesting. Because we know
Whoopi Goldberg had done it.
I thought Whoopi Goldberg would have done it.
She just did. She did like a appearance in one of the skits, but she never hosted.
Really? And then what was the Leslie Jones? She's even on the show. She's never
hosted.
Really? I'm
Tiffany
like,
Haddish
this can't be real.
I mean, if you Tiffany Haddish, when she was interviewed about it, she even said, I was calling people and I called Whoopi thinking, going, hey, what's going on? How do I do this? You've done this before, so tell me how to do this. And Whoopi was like, bitch, you the first. That was it. It was like, what?
Whoopi cussed at her?
Well, Whoopi cussed at everybody.
Oh, well, I only see her clips from The View.
Have you ever seen her stand up? Whoopi cussed like Richard Pryor.
But she's grown now.
She was grown then.
She's seasoned. So
she's seasoned and her cussing is seasoned too.
Right on.
She done slipped a few times on The View.
She also got a book that came out, or a memoir they're calling it, called The Last Black Unicorn. And there's a little bit of controversy about that, which is why I'm like, I don't know if I want to bring her up.
What's the controversy?
Well, some people are. I think her ex that she wrote about in the book is coming out claiming that what she said about him in the book isn't true, and it seems questionable, and I didn't want that to tarnish anything else that she has going on. So let me just give her props. Shout out.
I don't think it's questionable. I've been in that position. I don't think it's questionable.
No, and when I think they were saying that her ex people have been interviewing him, and then even Haddish has come out saying some things, she wrote, other people kind of chimed in and changed some of what she said. So it's questionable. I'm not saying
what was written. If it's the ex-husband,
but see, you're listening to the audio. She said I think from what I understand.
Okay.
The book version, like the written version, when she was doing the audio version, I think I've heard that she also noticed some differences in what was written that weren't her memories.
So the audio version is different from the written version?
Yes.
Okay, because the audio version, just because if she's talking about the ex-husband, I've been in that position.
Is it ex-husband?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been in that position, and what she's saying is so true. And a lot of women who have been in abusive relationships will be able to relate to everything she's saying.
But just because it's relatable doesn't mean it's your story.
You're right about that. It could be somebody else's story.
Yeah.
But right now I'm halfway. Well, I don't know if I'm halfway through the book because I'm listening to the audio version when I'm in my car, and we know how not often that is. But it's hilarious.
You like it?
There's a part about Roscoe. It's hilarious.
Who is Roscoe?
Roscoe is the I don't want to call him that. He's the special needs person that she dated.
Okay. So somebody that she used to date.
It's hilarious. I mean,
so
this book
you
is
recommend this book?
Funny, yes. But I recommend the audio version. The reason I got the audio version is just because you hear it in her voice.
Right.
And with her being a stand-up comedian, sometimes I think comedians, especially if they do their own audio on their books, you hear it in their voice, so it just feels differently than reading it in your own head, in your own voice. So that's just me personally.
And I don't think I've ever, I've seen pictures of her. I don't think I've ever actually seen her doing an interview. I don't really know anything about her.
Oh, she been all over lately.
I know. I'm saying me,
Yeah, you like, yeah, I get it. I understand.
Anyway, so shout out to Ayrton Little.
Woohoo!
Shout out to Tiffany Haddish.
Woohoo! Okay. So let's talk the crap that Agent Orange is doing. Okay, so the tax bill, I'm not going to go into detail. I listed it on Facebook, basically, or not listed it. I posted an article where CNN broke it down and talked about what was in the bill. Take a look at it. If you are okay with that, then you're okay with this tax bill. I personally think it's a bunch of BS. I think it's, let me rephrase. I think it's a lot of BS in it. But I can see all the discounts that are going to the wealthy. I see that for the next few years, I think it's like 10 years, some of us will get a nice tax break, and that's good. However, I also see what happened here in Kansas, in the state of Kansas.
Oh, this trickle down stuff.
Well, no, and how they did the tax break. They gave, Kansas, even everybody got a tax break in Kansas.
I didn't feel it.
Well, everybody got one. Y'all all got a tax break in Kansas. And the problem is now Kansas cannot support the state. Schools, if in the state of Kansas, if you in kindergarten, you got to pay to go to school. It didn't used to be that way. Kindergarten was starting school, not in the state of Kansas. So you got to pay to go to school, and then there's not enough money for the schools. Kansas is got a lot of problems right now because of that tax bill.
Well, the federal government doesn't care about education anymore. So
this ain't even the federal government.
You're talking about Kansas.
I'm talking about
the
tax
bill.
Yes, this was.
I'm saying that's why they don't care.
Well,
because
yeah,
if education is on the line, they don't care about that.
Yeah, they tried to take the tax breaks away from teachers who bought their own supplies, but whatever. So, but I'm just comparing the two because all the citizens of Kansas got a tax break, but the state is in peril now. So when you take money out of the government, there's not enough money to pay for what needs to be paid for. That's just like you saying, okay, I'm going to take money out of my household. I get $500 a month, but I'm tired of putting it all in my household. So I'm going to take $250 and put it in my pocket and only put $250 in my household. But now it's not enough to pay the bills.
Right.
It's the same situation here. When you stop taking taxpayer dollars, there's not enough to pay the bill. So it's not only not going to be enough to pay the bills, it's going to raise the deficit. And still 13 million people are going to be without insurance because they are repealing the Obamacare mandate. But for the detailed version, go in there, take a look. You might get a tax break. Just know taxes are going up for middle class in 10 years.
And this is the Keep It Moving Facebook page.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's the final version of the tax bill. They're trying to vote on Tuesday. It's like 1,000-page bill. They dropped it Friday and told everybody we're going to vote Tuesday. Got to read through 1,000 pages. Good luck.
Nothing about this administration. Nothing about Congress. This I'm not surprised.
Net neutrality.
Yeah.
For those of you who do not understand what net neutrality is, think of it like cars on a freeway. Cars on a freeway are moving everybody, as long as all the lanes are open, freeway's moving in the morning when you going to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's just say that, let's rephrase. Okay. Not when you going to work, just regular every day. All lanes are open, cars are moving on the freeway. Everybody has the same advantage, right? You just driving down the street, you got a lot of room to move. Think of that as your traffic. That's the traffic going in from the internet to your computer. every website you go to just flows freely. Well, now with net neutrality, what they do is they open up a lane and they say, okay, this is like your carpool lane.
Yeah.
You got to have more people in this car to go. And you can go faster in this lane. But now these lanes, we're going to block one of these lanes completely off for construction. So now you've bundled up these other lanes and now traffic is starting to slow. But that carpool lane is moving fast. Well, that carpool lane is the internet's sites that they like. So they can move with speed. But now anything else, they're going to slow down that traffic and make it come slower to your computer. And you know how it is when you going on your computer and stuff is coming slow, you stop going.
Right.
So that's what net neutrality has the ability to do. Now, the reality is it will only do that if big business allows it to.
Which I can imagine that they will.
Right. So that, I mean, it ultimately, if big business leaves things alone and they continue to conduct business as is, everything will be fine. But if they don't, and they decide to make more money, to have more control, and to tell you what you want, what you should do with your products, which we all know they do that all the time, then these are the things that could happen. They could charge more for you to let certain websites in. They could charge more. They already charge you more for speed, but they could charge websites more. So like we got the Keep It Moving podcast site. They could charge us more just to have our little site online.
Right.
And
then slow traffic to our site.
Right.
If we're talking about, which most of the time we are.
Right.
Stuff that they don't agree with.
There you go. So it is so many different things that could happen here, which is why so many people have been against it, including Amazon, Google, Microsoft. They've been against it. So the only thing is we can say right now is all in the hands of the ISPs, and we'll just have to see what happens.
Well, they're trying to force like a congressional review of that vote or whatever to try and save it. But I don't trust this Congress to do anything. I don't trust that's in the favor of the people. I don't trust it, especially with Republicans in control, because everything they've done thus far has tried to be a gift to the 1%, to corporations, to not for the people. They have not looked out for people.
Well, and the thing is, when people have known and understood what was going on, they have attempted to fight back. But in this situation,
and they fought everything Congress is doing.
Well, true.
Everything.
But here's one of the things: net neutrality. A lot of people don't understand it. They don't even know what it means, and they don't know what it means to them and how it affects them. And that's one of the bigger problems. Just like the federal judges that they rushing through that literally know nothing. These judges have never even tried a case. The questions that they were, Mr. Kennedy was asking them, or Senator Kennedy was asking them, were questions that first year law students should be able to answer. They could not, I posted on the page like a 5-minute interview, and literally this dude didn't know anything. But now federal judges, this is the one place Congress can't do nothing about it. They sit for life the moment they're appointed. These are young judges. But
who votes them in?
There is no vote.
So why is Congress even questioning them if there's no vote? This doesn't make any sense.
Well, maybe there is a vote. I'm not sure. I'll have to look on federal judges. I'm thinking Trump can just put them in.
There would be no purpose to have, because especially dealing with 45. He would just put them in.
He would just put them in. So maybe there is a vote and they vote them in, but these are Republicans. So, and they just doing what the president wants them to do.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is these are young judges. They're in their late 40s and they will sit for life. So once they're in there, even if say Congress did get flipped, say even we gutted Congress completely and put all new people in there with whole different agendas, once these judges are appointed, they're not going anywhere. Not going anywhere, and it's nothing we can do about them. And these are federal judges, so these are the judges that make the laws. So we screaming and hollering about how the laws are unfair to black people. These are the people who make those laws. These are the people who say in a courtroom whether you get life, death, or you in jail for life. You know, these are the people who decide so many different fates, and they're just doing this. And a lot of people don't understand the importance of the federal judge. Why are there
so many positions open at this point?
I don't know. People retire, people die. positions open up. Just like, I mean, it's just like the SCOTUS, the Supreme Court justices.
Yeah.
They are there for life. When they die or when they decide to retire and quit, the spot opens up.
Back to net neutrality.
So I'm just comparing the two, basically saying these are things people don't know a lot about, and when people don't know about them, they go, "Oh well, okay, I guess we just had to trust what they say."
But okay, yes, that is true. But then there are the other people that are pissing me off, the ones that just accept what he's saying as
you
the
got
truth.
those too.
And even when the proof is in front of you that what he's saying is not true, and this is going to hurt you, this is not in your best interest, they still say, you know what? Well, the president is saying it, so it must be for me.
But maybe the tides are turning because Alabama did something Alabama ain't done in 25 years.
Yeah, we talked about this.
They voted Doug Jones,
a Democrat,
into a Senate seat that has not been held by a Democrat for 25 years. And it wasn't just Alabama. It was Alabama black people. They needed 25% to get out there and vote, and 30% showed up. And 98% of black women voted Doug Jones in office. I ain't never been so proud to be a black woman in my life. I'm so proud of them black women. They said, we not doing this. Roy Moore, he rode to the poll.
On a horse. Yeah.
The newspaper the next day said, fuck you and your horse you rode, I was like, yes.
Well, I didn't have any faith, and I guess I owe Alabama an apology. Well, the people that voted for Doug Jones, I owe them an apology because I wrote the whole state off.
I just knew they was going to vote this fool in.
Because so many people, and then it was like 60+% of white women voted this guy in, voted for this guy.
55% of white people.
So well, I'm talking about the women, just white women in general.
I don't have a white women.
And I'm like, you know what he's accused of, and you still can sit back and support this person, like that's irritating. And so, of course, I just lose faith in people. It don't take much.
Well, it was 65% of white people, 30% black people, and 2% Latino that voted for Doug Jones. So I guess not all the white people were cuckoo.
Not all, but a huge number of white.
Yeah.
I'm just saying because he's accused of molesting and going after being a child predator to your daughters.
Not ours.
Yes, your daughters.
Our daughters weren't touched.
You should have had a problem with that. That's my point. You should have had a problem with it. And I don't think he's conceded yet. I was reading that he reached out to some of his supporters like, hey, we're going to challenge this.
But Alabama state law, he can't. Alabama state laws, they got a state law that says if the vote is more than so many percentage points away that you can't challenge it. So Alabama's already said it cannot be challenged. This is it. So he can sit up and reach out to whoever he want to.
And he's raising money for it.
Hey, raise money all you want to. But you lost, dude. You lost. Like they told Hillary, you lost when she actually won. But
the same thing is going on in Atlanta though, with Mary Norwood and Keisha Bottoms.
Yes,
Lance Bottoms or something
Keisha
like that.
won and Mary is fighting it.
Yeah,
but what really got me is with this vote, 30% of black people came out and voted, but only 28% came out for Obama. So Doug Jones got more of the Alabama vote than Obama did, both times.
What do you mean both times?
Both times. Only 28% of black people came out for Obama and voted both elections in Alabama. Doug Jones got 30% of the black vote. So the black voters have awakened. I hope they stay awoke because we got a problem and it needs to be resolved. And it's not going to be resolved if we don't get out and vote. And this proves that our vote does count.
More than anything.
Yes, it does. But now here's the thing. Charles Barkley, he made a point to say that
Doug Jones.
No, he just made a point to say this is a wake up call for Democrats.
Right.
That they need to pay more attention to black people and poor white people. Because that's who changed this election. Black people and poor white people. So you got to wake up. This is a new day and age. Stop paying attention to the rich people because it's more of us than it is of them.
We need to remember that too.
And we definitely need to remember how important we are.
Yeah.
And stop sitting up and, we don't count.
And that just irritates me.
Yeah.
And then we, like you say, I'm not voting because it don't matter. And then when these people that are voted into office start making all these laws and changing shit that affects you, now you want to complain when you had an opportunity to actually make your voice heard in the polls.
Well, and then when I took a little bit of time and started reading up on Doug Jones, and I found it interesting that Doug Jones, you know, back in 1963 in Alabama, the 16th Street Baptist Church was bombed. Mm-hmm. And 4 little black girls were killed. It was racially motivated and done by the KKK.
Right.
Years later, FBI had sealed the files, so these men couldn't be prosecuted. Well, years later, when Doug Jones grew up and became, I believe it was the U.S. Attorney for the North District of Alabama, when he got that title, it was done by President Clinton. Clinton put him in office. And he went back and he sued and, well, not sued, but he prosecuted and put those people behind bars, those KKK members behind bars for doing that. And this was 20, 30 years later. So I think that is amazing. That to me shows part of his character.
Right.
He didn't let this go. This is something he did not have to do at all, especially with the amount of time that had passed, and him being a young kid himself when it happened. But he went back and he sued. So I think that, or he prosecuted. I think that shows part of his character and who he is. And I hope that he continues to be that person when he heads to the White House. He's, you know, he stands for the child. It's the CHIP program. It's the Child Health Insurance Program. He's wants to make sure there's money put into that. You know, so he's getting ready to go in and fight a good fight, and he's fighting that fight for middle class and poor people. And I just hope he continues to remember who put him there, why he was put there, and it doesn't ever become about me. Because let's be real, it ain't just Republicans who can be about me. Them Democrats can too.
They just don't have too much of a voice right now.
Yeah, that's all. And that's why we ain't talking about them.
Don't get me started. I mean, I get so irritated with just seeing all the stuff that's going as if we don't exist. It's like they're making all these moves, these money moves, and not even being concerned about the people that they're supposed to be representing as if they're invisible. I can't wait. If people aren't fired up about 2018 at this point, with all you would think Republicans would have took a step back, say, okay, shit just went down in Alabama. You know, I thought I was safe.
You would think this tax bill they trying to rush through, you think it would make them say, whoa.
Let's rethink things, you know.
Let's stop, because we do want to make it back in house. We'll see. But now 2018 midterms have been known for not being an election where people turn out. You got to get up. You got to show up. You got to vote. And it don't matter what color you are, red, black, green, purple. I don't care. You got to get up. You got to get out. You got to show up. Make your voice heard, because your vote does count. Your voice is heard in an election, especially an election that is not a presidential election, because none of these elections have electoral colleges.
Right.
So it is 100% the people.
And what you're voting for affects you.
It sure does. These people from your state are talking about what you need. But I'm going to piss you off even more.
You think so?
Oh, I know so. I can do it with one word.
What?
Omerosa.
Omerosa. Well, Omerosa, before we even talk about what happened with Omerosa, what do you think about Omerosa as a person?
As a person, she is not somebody I would be friends with. She's not somebody I would want to work with. She's not somebody I would even want to have a conversation with. It's nothing about this woman that I find that is anywhere relatable to me. I wouldn't feel comfortable talking to her. I would feel like she was right there looking to stab me in the back at any point in time. She's all about her and nobody but her.
Yes, I agree with all of that. And people, you know, we found out this week that Omerosa is leaving the White House. Well, I don't think anybody knows what Omerosa did. We know what she was supposed to do, but I don't think she did anything in her tenure in the White House.
But see, my thing was, you know, should I be excited about this? Because does it even really matter? Because did it matter that she was there?
No, the only reason I think a lot of black people are excited about it is because now she's no longer in the place to look down her nose on us. She was treated just like she was trying to treat us. And
I didn't supposed to bow down to Donald Trump.
Yes. I mean, just talking cash money shit, and that's what irritated me about her as far as during the campaign process. But I didn't like Omerosa even before then, because I used to watch, and I also used to review Celebrity Apprentice. And the one season I tried to review it, she was on there. I think LaToya Jackson was on there, and she was also the reason I stopped watching the show, because she was so vile. She was so underhanded and sneaky and hateful and bitter.
That's
and
why Trump
I hated everything about her, and I couldn't believe that she was that type of person. I'm like, how did you get this far in life? Maybe that's what it takes. Especially
that's what it took for her.
It took for her, but maybe if you're going to go against your own people, then that's how you succeed in the white man's world.
Well, see, what got me is when she did a little interview.
Which interview?
With Good Morning America.
Okay, after the fire or the resignation.
Yeah, after the so-called resignation, where they discussed how she was actually escorted out of the White House, and she was cussing and all that stuff. Which, I'm sorry, I believe that report way more than I believe hers. Yeah, that sounds just like who she is.
She has no credibility, especially when it comes to black people.
She's done that. You've seen her on the Celebrity Apprentice.
Yes.
Do that. Just that.
This is your character.
So, but anywho, she said that I was there because somebody had to represent us. And I'm looking around going, who the hell's us? Because you don't represent me as a woman. You don't represent me as a black person. You don't represent me at all.
And I don't think that was her intention.
About you that represents me. If anybody saw you and said, I'm going to assume this is what you're like because of her, I would be pissed, because I am nothing like that. You don't represent me as a human being.
Right.
I mean, it's nothing about this woman that represents me. She is a vile piece of crap, and I am glad she is gone. But I have to admit, when all of the conversation was going on and back and forth, and then GMA shot back to Robin Roberts, and Robin Roberts asked the question, and they said, well, Omerosa going to tell us. And Robin Roberts said, bye, Felicia. It kept going, and I thought all hell just broke loose. Y'all done made Robin Roberts say bye, Felicia. This is the most couth and classiest woman I have ever seen. Robin Roberts is just that. She represents black people to me.
Okay.
She's a class act. She got sense. She got brains. She has an agenda as far as she wants to go up the corporate ladder. She wants to have a career success. She wants to have family success, things like that. She's got a family, a mother, a sister that she loves. She talks about important things. This is what she represents black people to me. But when you make that kind of woman say, bye, Felicia, it's a problem.
and with Robin Roberts, like, does she wants to, I guess, move up, but is she putting down her people?
Right. She would never put down her people. She raises her people up with her.
And I never, at any point, felt like Omerosa was even attempting to do something like that. She just thought she was.
I don't think Omerosa would raise her own kids up. I really don't. I think she is one of those people that she's just about her.
I can see that. I mean, it was just, and people, they kept saying, y'all shouldn't be, I guess, celebrating the fact that she got fired. She's a black person. She got a story to tell. She felt some type of way at how, her people were being treated.
She got a story to tell. She said Donald Trump was racial, not racist. What the hell does that mean? She ain't got no story to tell.
She ain't got no story to tell.
She just wants somebody to think it's a book out there. And that's the weird thing about, and even Meghan McCain, she doesn't agree too much with any Democrat about anything, and I don't think she agrees a lot with black people about how they're treated either. But I think part of that is just she's sheltered. But she even said she doesn't understand this administration and how everybody from this administration got a book. They got a book deal as soon as they out the house. They got a book deal. She's like, do you remember Obama's chief of staff? Do you remember anybody in his cabinet other than Hillary Clinton? Do you remember anything about the people? No, not really. You might remember their name here and there.
I know about them now because they're the ones who are speaking out against the people who took their job in this current administration.
But you don't see them writing a book.
No.
You don't see them doing tell-alls. It's only Donald Trump's White House that everybody got to be a celebrity.
Right.
And it's just weird. So she's already got a book in place. And I'd like to see how many of those books fly off the shelves. I really would.
I'll wait till the media tells me what's in this book, because I definitely
They ain't
wouldn't.
even
I
got
would
to tell me.
purchase it. I know she ain't talking about anything. And then if you felt uncomfortable about some of the things that were going on or being said about your people, then why were you so against your people? And you never spoke out against those things. So why now? Like, you, bye, Felicia. I mean,
There
that's
you go.
it. That's a
But
proper
I
response.
guess that's why Robert said it, because it's nothing else you can say but bye, get the hell on.
Especially after the way you demeaned black people, the way you talked and treated black people.
I was standing up for my people. And
When?
I don't think it's one of her people that believes she was speaking for them.
Because she wasn't. She was speaking down on them or speaking at them as if she was the coup de grace.
Well, you're going to bow down to Donald Trump.
Anyway.
Anywho, so moving on to yet another story, or yet more stories of sexual harassment coming out. Let's be real with one another. These ain't gonna stop. They're gonna come out from everywhere. Just be prepared. I guess people are asking, when is it going to stop? When is it going to stop? It's not going to stop. This is the culture that we have allowed to be prevalent in our society for so long. It's not going to stop. The only thing we can do is say, okay, this is where we draw the line in the sand. It does not go on anymore. It stops from this point on, because going back and trying to sue and fire everybody who sexually harassed, most men would be out of a job, and a lot of women too. So let's just be real. There were two chicks on NBC. She's the black woman. She's got the African name, I think Gupta. I can't remember her name, but her and then Kathy Lee Griffin were on the NBC Today show, or NBC, one of these NBC shows, and they were running around the studio, and Kathy Lee was hitting her on her butt, and they just going around the studio, and it was something on Jimmy Fallon played on his show. So I don't know where the clip actually came from, but this is what these two women were doing, and technically that would be considered sexual harassment. So, and they just joking around with each other.
Right. And that's kind of like the whole Al Franken situation.
Right. But
some of them, not all
some of them, not all of them. But that's the reality of it. You sitting there joking around and you don't think it's a big deal, but it actually in all reality is a big deal. So we can't really continue. We can't go back and get everybody from back then. It's going to be too many people. We need to focus and just say from this point on, this moment on. Now, if we talking rape, that's a whole different story.
Right.
Okay. I'm saying sexual harassment. We need to stop and say, okay, from this moment on, it stops. And we need to make it stop. And we need to be going forward and talking about stories that are happening versus stories that weren't happening in the past. But what has come out now, I posted on the Facebook page a really good read of Salma Hayek. And she talks about what Harvey Weinstein did to her. And it's a really good read. And she tells you exactly what she was feeling and everything about her situation that she hadn't talked about. So if you get a chance and an opportunity, take the time to read it. But also Russell Simmons. Now, a few women had come out against him, but now he is being investigated by the New York Police Department for rape charges now because of everything that's going on. So...
yeah, this 4 women have accused him of rape. I think it's 9 women came out accusing him of sexual harassment or assault, but 4 women, and they list, I think it's an article from CNN, they list the name of those women because they've made their names public. But he denies, everything.
Right. He denies, which a lot of them do, especially rape charges, because that is a crime. Whereas, let's be real, sexual harassment has not been a crime. It may be on the books, but it's never been an enforced crime. Look at what happened with Anita Hill and Clarence Thomas. She was made to look the villain. Look at what happened with Bill Clinton. Yeah, he was impeached by the House, but he still finished his term. He and after that, he's looked at like the good guy. Monica Lewinsky was looked down upon, and Trump pushed it all up in Hillary's face just a few years ago, made it out to be like it was her fault. So
as all these women are also accusing him of sexual assault, and he's being sued,
right? And
nobody's his people aren't talking about that,
right? So I mean, unfortunately, the sexual harassment part, we do have to kind of move forward with, because that's the only way to make change. And I'm not saying don't share your story. Continue to share your story, especially with other women, especially with women who are going through it. They need to hear those stories. But when it comes to sexual harassment, we've got to look at in the future. So those claims of sexual harassment, okay, it probably did happen. I wouldn't begin to believe it didn't, just because I know the culture in this country. But now the rape allegations we need to look into. And then also when these men are being charged, Dustin Hoffman, they interviewed him, and one guy asked him point blank, was it true? And Dustin Hoffman asked, well, do you believe it? And the guy said, why? The guy said, yeah. And Dustin Hoffman says, why? And he says, because why would these women lie? Now, I'm not talking about all women, but I know a lot of women who lie when it comes to rape. A lot of women have lied. Look at Emmett Till, the situation with Emmett Till.
And
all
that
he
wasn't even
did
rape.
was whistled at a white woman, supposedly, and it comes out 80 years later that he didn't even whistle at her. He didn't do anything, but she lied because she felt uncomfortable in a moment and she needed an out. Women who have slept with black men over the years, for centuries. White women who have slept with black men have accused them of rape because they got in trouble. They got busted by a boyfriend, a brother, a sister, a father, so they scream rape to get out of it. But in that black man ends up in jail or dead or both. And they walk away. Women have lied to get money. Women have lied to get prestige. So there's a reason. Okay. I didn't like Dustin Hoffman's response because his response was, oh, well, why would she say something 40 years later? Well, it's a lot of reasons. It's a lot of reasons she might have done that 30 and 40 years later. But did he say
no? He didn't.
No, that was the response. Okay. And then they don't show no more in the interview. But so his response was wrong. But I mean, the perfect answer to that question is why would she lie? Why wouldn't she? So I don't believe every single case. I do believe in due process, and I do believe these men deserve due process. Just like these women deserve to be heard, these men deserve due process, and that's simply because I look at the cases over the years and I see how many men have been railroaded into something like this, and some have been lied on, and a lot of them have lost everything because of it. Especially black men. And so I can't just sit up here and say, okay, well, I believe every woman that says it. It's a case by case basis. And every last woman needs to be heard. Every last woman needs to feel secure in the belief that people will believe her and not blame her and not say she dressed provocatively or she did this or she asked for it. No. You need to be heard. You need to be able to go to a court of law and be heard by your peers, and it be fair. But it needs to be just as fair for him as well.
Right. And that's it's seeming, and like as far as me believing like what's going on, I kind of look at the response of the guy, like when he's being accused of whatever, and then if he resigns and doesn't. Like, what are you resigning? If you didn't do anything, what are you resigning for? Unless you know that there's something. Maybe it's not what that person said, but you know it's somebody out there that you don't want to come out and you see it coming. Then I don't say anything. But if you know that you didn't do anything, just like Tavis Smiley was also accused.
Yes.
PBS, snatched his show, suspended him indefinitely, and they claimed they did an investigation, and he didn't know anything about what was going on, and he denies. He put out a statement saying like, "Hey, they didn't. I wasn't treated fairly. I deny everything." He doesn't feel like he received his due process. And I think
everybody deserves it.
That's the part I can understand suspending me while you do your investigation. But he said he had to threaten legal action before they actually sat down and talked to him and let him know what was going on. And that's to me, that's a problem, because you talk to the victims. I understand. And maybe somebody had evidence, but if you're not telling me anything and I don't get to either disprove what was or even face my accusers, then it's not right.
Well, and I think the thing is, especially when it comes to entertainment, the entertainment industry, media industry, and even politics, the reason they're telling them to step down and trying to get rid of them immediately is because they want to continue with their show without having to deal with public opinion. and public opinion when it comes to entertainment is a lot heavier than it is anywhere else.
Yeah.
So I can kind of understand the why. It doesn't make it right. They should have never been able to take his job away from him just on an accusation that hasn't been proven yet. Okay, everybody deserves due process. Everybody deserves to be heard, and everybody deserves their time in court, which I think is one of the reasons it's so difficult to prosecute a rape 30 years later. That's why they give it that statute of limitations, because it's so hard to find the evidence. You and I talked a few months ago about Nelly when when somebody accused him of rape, and they took him in, and then she immediately dropped the case. And you asked me how I felt about that, since I'm a huge Nelly fan. Well, I wanted her to continue with the case, because the reality is we don't know what happened. Right. Nobody knows what happened. And the only thing that we have is her word and his. And then they go in a court of law and find any evidence that the police can find to support either way. And that then something is determined. Well, we don't know what happened, because she dropped the case. The police department still attempted to prosecute, but they couldn't without her. They finally said they had to let it go and move forward. Just here, I think this past week,
Nelly said he's going to be suing that person.
Right. And now he can sue her for defamation of character.
Right.
You know, so it's when you open your mouth and you use words like he raped me, he forced me to do something I didn't want to do. Be ready to back it up. And I get it. I get the mental of that. I do understand the mental of that. But you've got to understand that you've got to be stronger than that. In order to get that person prosecuted, get that person off the street, and get that person from not being able to do that to you again or anybody else, you got to be stronger than all the emotion that you're feeling right now.
And maybe it'll be easier for women if you accuse somebody, especially a celebrity, of sexual assault, sexual harassment, that it's not so public. The police do their thing,
right?
Because when you accuse somebody and it's this person's fave, then they start attacking you,
right? And that's not
what
fair.
Women don't want to, or
that's
people don't want to deal with.
And you should never attack somebody saying they were raped. You don't know, you weren't there, right? Unless you were in that room. You don't have a word to say. So you can't pass judgment. Let that trial go off just like every other trial. And let that person have their day in court and their day to try to get justice for what they say was done to them. If they find no evidence, then hey, it's a different story. But even still, attacking the person who's saying it happened is not fair. Because when it turns around and it happens to you and everybody's attacking you, then you're going to have a problem. So don't attack the victim. Don't attack anybody. Just let the court do its job.
And, speaking of that kind of ties into the whole Keaton Jones situation that we heard about this week, where a young man from, I think it was Tennessee or something like that, he was being bullied at school. His mom recorded him making this viral video where he's, emotional, and he's saying, why do people bully? Like, they did this to me, they did that. Like, what's the point of it all? And it was like, I watched the video. It touched my heart. I felt some type of way. I don't know if I've ever been bullied like that. I don't even know if I called it bullying back then. People always jonesing on you and talking crap or whatever, push you down.
We were used to it.
Yeah, I don't think I called it bullying, but
I think it happens worse now than it in a bigger way now because of social media.
Social media,
than it did
because
when we were
now
kids.
If somebody's going to bully you, there's usually somebody there that's going to be recording it, and you have to relive that moment over and over again, and the embarrassment of it.
The embarrassment. It's not only that, but your whole school knows about it. The school that your rival school knows about it. I mean, everybody in the world knows about it, and it's like there's no safe place for you.
Well, the video went viral, and then, people just started pouring out their support. They felt sorry for him, we started having a conversation about bullying, which I thought was a really good thing. Snoop Dogg reached out to him, Justin Bieber, Cardi B, even Chris Evans, the actor who plays Captain America. Right. He invited the boy and his mom to come to, the set or to the premiere or something like that. And it was just a good thing. People rallying around a young man who's been bullied. But then it changed because, like the internet does, they do their own investigation and found out, the mom had posted some questionable things, some anti-Black Lives Matter
That she said was
posed.
jokes.
Yeah, and with the Confederate flag, there was nothing joking about it. I didn't see no LOL or anything like that. Several posts, or a couple posts with the Confederate flag. They found out that his father was connected to white supremacists somehow. And what I guess my issue is that people then started to bully her son even more. And so it's like you wanted to get the awareness out there, and I think you did, because we did have the conversation for at least a day.
At least a day.
At least a day. But then I guess maybe the way you did, my issue was the GoFundMe. Like, I didn't really understand the purpose of starting the GoFundMe, unless it was a GoFundMe started to be contributed to an anti-bullying type of organization. You know, you're bringing up awareness, and then I can still understand the celebrities wanting to let him know, like, hey, we got your back. We'll be your friends. We support you. Bullying is wrong, because it is.
It is.
But just a random GoFundMe to help, pay some bills or Christmas gifts and stuff like that was just weird to me. And then we saw an MMA fighter come out saying he reached out to the mom, and he was like, hey, I want to, bring Keaton down here. We got a big, huge event coming up. I want him to meet some of the fighters or whatever. And she was like, just share the GoFundMe information. And that led him to believe that she's just out here for the money and kind of exploiting her son and his situation because of all the notoriety it has gotten. And that's wrong, if that's the truth, because it took away.
And well, that's the bad thing. It takes away from Keaton's message. Keaton did have a message, a very important message. Yes. And let's first and foremost not blame him for the sins of his mama. And let's listen to his message. I wouldn't support her GoFundMe page at all. I wouldn't bring her nowhere. Keaton can come, and maybe his older brother or his daddy, but you not.
His daddy, the white supremacist?
Oh, well, he can't come either. Find an uncle, find a friend. You can't come. But I think the hardest thing is what makes me. Then when he's talking about bullying. And you wonder, because this is what he's being taught. Regardless of anything, she's teaching a negative lesson.
Right.
She's a white supremacist. She thinks this is a joke. So she's teaching to him that this is a joke.
So he may share some of that at school.
Right. So
and
if
others,
he's sharing that at school, was he truly bullied? Or was he the bully and they fighting back? Now, but his message, the message itself, if you can take Keaton's mama out of it and everything, and just his message, and pay attention to his message. His message is right. All the bullying needs to stop. You need to stop talking about people because they're different, because especially in elementary school, you really think everybody's supposed to be like each other. But as you grow and get older, you find that it's the things that makes people different. Those are the things you get attracted to. Those are the things, like when I was little, I felt like I had big lips. I couldn't stand having big lips. By the time I was in high school, I was like, I got nice lips, because it meant something totally different.
Wait a minute. What did your lips mean in high school?
Just hush it up. You just hush it up.
Okay.
But and it wasn't me, so it was just, that's what the boys said. But anyway,
I'm just gonna go ahead.
So, but when you little, life teaches you lessons throughout it, and all of those things that make you unattractive as a little kid are the things that make you very attractive as an adult. So we need to teach a different lesson. Keaton's message was strong. It was very correct. As far as Keaton's mama, I don't have no respect for her. If she's teaching her son to be a racist, then eventually I won't have no respect for him either. But I will not allow her mistakes to be shared on him until I know for sure that it's him that caused the problem.
Maybe he can learn from this, because it wasn't just white people reaching out to him. It was black people as well, showing him support, letting him know, hey, I'm here for you. I got your back. So if his mom is trying to teach him, white is right and, forget everybody else, he's learning a different lesson through all of this. Well, depending on the backlash that happens since his mom was exposed for who she is. Hopefully he learns that you can't just judge everybody based on their color.
Well, and then not only that, I'm a firm believer in karma, God, Buddha, Allah. Whatever you do is going to come back twice-fold to you. So if you, the mama, have been mistreating people and bullying people, you getting your karma back through your son and his experiences. You're feeling his pain because you feel his pain a lot more than you feel your own. A mother feels her child's pain. Even a father feels their child's pain more than they feel their own. So she's feeling her son's pain now. And it's probably because this is what you've dished out. So stop treating people bad and you won't get bad to come back to you.
Right on.
That's all.
And stop bullying.
Yeah, life's too short. And we all different. If we all was alike, we all would be bored.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. If everybody was like you, that would be boring.
I don't know. I think I'd be cool with it. Because I'm a cool ass person though. You boring. So I can understand you feeling that way. I'm just saying.
I can tell you, if I didn't have nobody to debate with, nobody to...
No, I think you'd be good at debating with yourself.
No, I'm not. No, but I mean, I need somebody to stimulate my intellect. I really do. That's the one thing I need, is somebody who will stimulate my intellect. So if you cannot reach me on a mental level and have a conversation with me and debate and talk about things, you can't be a major factor in my life, because you will bore me quickly. So if everybody was like me, then my intellect wouldn't be stimulated. I'd just be saying the same thing and yeah, I'm right. Okay, that's no fun.
That's what you do.
No, I know I'm right, but now I got to convince you to come my way. I need that.
It usually doesn't happen.
Yes, it does.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We done talked about you joining me in my head and how much fun it would be.
And then I mentioned like the word like crazy or insanity or something like that. I'm sure I did.
No.
Anyway.
You said you were coming along for the ride.
Oh,
Anywho.
Lord. See, what they say about when you put lies out there, like what comes back?
Lightning. And you see it ain't striking. So hi.
Not yet.
Anywho, anything else?
No, ma'am.
All righty. Well, thank you so much for listening and good night.
Peace.